Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Lizzie McGuire, the series rundown review. And yes, I know it's not Women's History Month, but I'm not waiting till next year just to upload this video. So, this is a show I've wanted to talk about for like the longest time. It is one of the most famous and iconic Disney Channel shows of all time. Like, this show meant so much to so many people that, like, kids or teenagers or whatever would be talking about this character, and their parents would be all like, oh, well, when is Lizzie's birthday? And people would just kind of look at them and be all like, what the heck are you talking about? They're all like, well, she's a real person, ain't she? And they're like, no, she's a fictional character on a television show. That is literally how popular Lizzie McGuire was. I'm not even joking when I say she is an icon, she is a legend, this show is a legend. Literally, this show was the blueprint for so many Disney Channel shows. It is crazy. This one show ushered in like a new era of Disney Channel, because this show was made during like the Zoog Disney era. But once they got into like the Disney Channel era, everything changed. It's what I like to call the Disney Channel princess era and everything. Basically, what that is where you get a lead female character and the show revolves around her. It doesn't revolve around her family. It doesn't revolve around her and her friends. It just revolves around her. And she might have a family, she might have like, friends at school, something like that. But the show primarily focuses on a female character and a female character only. And not only does it do that, but they try to turn the main female character into a singer. Disney Channel does, by giving them like a record label and everything. This was literally the first. Actually, I don't know if she was the first to get the record label or the first necessarily to turn into like a singer. Because I know on Even Stevens, like, that show was the blueprint of like Disney family shows and stuff, right? But like, they rarely did shows that just focuses on family. But when it comes, but then also on Even Stevens, the characters did sing in that one musical and stuff. I don't know if they tried to give Christy Carson Romano a record deal or not. But I do know that, Hilary Duff had one. And Lelaine, the co-star, was trying to get one as well during this time. And this is also the first Disney Channel show to get a movie and everything based on the show. And not only that, but like a first theatrical movie. And originally it was going to be the very first Disney Channel show to like, get its own spin-off. In two different spin-offs. Actually, no, wait, three in everything. But none of those actually came to fruition because of behind the scene like drama and everything. Because originally they were supposed to have one where it's like an animated Lizzie show based on the animated Lizzie. Then there was supposed to be one where her and her friends are in high school on ABC. And then there is What Is Stevie Thinking? And, so none of those came true, but it would have been the first show to do that. So when I say this is literally the blueprint, this is the blueprint in everything. Like, if it wasn't for this show, you wouldn't have no Hannah Montana. You wouldn't have no Wizards of Waverly Place. You wouldn't have no Jessie or, what's that one show called with Demi Lovato? Sunny with a Chance, and so many other shows and stuff. This was also a trendsetter in fashion and stuff because they always made sure that like Lizzie and Miranda had a really good fashion sense that people would try to duplicate and stuff. And it's also kind of the thing that kind of kickstarted like this female-led renaissance on Nickelodeon. Kinda. I say kinda. Only because like it's a little debatable which show really kicked that off. Was it iCarly, which most people think it was, but iCarly came out, I think, in 2007. After iCarly, you had like True Jackson and Victorious, Sam and Cat, stuff like that, where once again you had a female led show with a really good fashion sense. They tried to make a singer out of her and stuff like that, some TV movies and stuff like that. But here's the thing: while iCarly was iconic and everything, and helped lead usher in other shows similar, one year after another, there was actually another show that Nickelodeon wants you to forget. Taina, yes, the Latino-led series. Well, Latino and Black, that was set in New York. See, Nickelodeon really, really, really wants you to forget this show so much that it's not on DVD. It's not even on Paramount Plus. It's on Pluto TV, but it's Spanish dub. The only way you can watch this in English is like uploaded videos on YouTube, and the quality is not that great. It's decent, but it's not like picture perfect. And the thing about Taina is that it actually came out the same month and the same year as Lizzie McGuire. And just like with Lizzie McGuire, it lasted for 2 seasons. And just like Lizzie McGuire, it dealt with a female lead. Very ironic because, this show came out in 2001. But the thing about Taina is that it got canceled just like Lizzie because of like backstage drama and everything. Not exactly the same as Lizzie McGuire, but similar. From what the lead actress said is that her music record company clashed with that of like Nickelodeon, or her management, or what do you call it. Then her mom got involved. What's ironic about that is that the reason why we never got that Lizzie McGuire spinoff or a second movie is because of Hilary Duff's mom, who played Lizzie McGuire. I'll get into that much later. And so because of that, Nickelodeon just like dropped Taina, and it hasn't even brought it on Paramount Plus. I think one reason for that is because of all the backstage drama. They don't want to pay her residuals if they put it on their platform and stuff. And so, but the thing about the Taina show is that, it got canceled in 2002. And after that, Nickelodeon just kept on doing like their animation stuff. I didn't even know Taina existed until last year. I've never heard of this. And it's crazy because I had cable. And I had cable during the time Lizzie McGuire was on. But for some reason, this just escaped my notice. Probably because I was glued to Disney Channel. And when it came to Nickelodeon, I would mostly just watch like the animated stuff, mostly around like whenever Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron would come on. But this show completely escaped my being and everything. Maybe because it came on at night and I was watching other stuff around that time. Who knows? But then, the Disney stuff used to come on at night too. And like I said before, I was glued to Disney. So after Taina got canceled, you didn't see a influx of female-led live-action series. Not until iCarly. So Taina is the template. But iCarly was more like a blueprint, if you will. However, Taina was the blueprint for the Victorious show, because the Victorious show basically just copied the entire formula of Taina. And will not give them credit. But Lizzie McGuire was a very special show and one dear to my heart. Whenever my family got cable again and I started watching like TV. This was one of the first Disney Channel shows I ever watched, if not the first. I'm not quite sure. It might have been Even Stevens, but I don't know. The thing about Lizzie McGuire, one thing that was great about it, it was in the Zoog Disney era. Now, yes, I know, So Weird, I think, came on before Lizzie McGuire. And yes, it had a female lead, but it didn't really start that influx of like female-led shows and stuff. It was a very different format. And these shows back in the day was a very different format. And like I said before, there would be no Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Wizards, and Sunny with Chance, and Jesse, and all those other shows if it wasn't for this. This show did not have a laugh track. Yes, it was a silly comedy and everything, but it wasn't that era of Disney that became wacky. Wacky like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Jesse, Wizards of Waverly Place, that type of humor that was just off the walls, wackadoo and everything, you know? This had a little bit more common sense. I like to think of this show as Boy Meets World meets that of Herman's Head. And if you're as old as I am, then you know what Herman's Head is. And, you know, because this show was the original Girl Meets World. And, you know, the only reason why it got canceled is because of that 65 episode limit of Disney Channel had back then. They could only go to 2 seasons. But like I said before, you know, they tried to get like a spinoff. But like I said, I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And the thing about Lizzie McGuire is Lizzie McGuire was really relatable. She was just your average teenage girl in middle school at age 13. She had 2 best friends and she had a bully at school. And every episode would deal with her basically being introduced to the real world. Things she just was not used to, like one of her best friends dating somebody and she don't get to see that person, which happened twice in like the show. Like her wondering, you know, how she's gonna end up, if she's gonna have a job or not and stuff like that. Her becoming very obsessed with like trying to take care of the planet with recycling and being like, you know, like a vegan and all this other stuff because she cares about the environment. Her getting like, you know, a guy liking her that she does not like back, but what does she do? The one dude that she really does like, but he doesn't like her back. Then her getting her first boyfriend only to get like dumped and everything, you know? Her having a fight with like her best friends, her dealing with her annoying brother, like, you know, and probably one of the most oh my god episodes ever, her wanting a bra. Because she was only 13, so her boobs were not coming in before, and they were just starting to come in. And yes, Disney Channel went there. They went there in the fact that, you know, they taught little girls what to do when buying a bra and everything, how to go to the store, like what the cup size is. They listed cup sizes. Yeah, they do it in a silly nature, but you're supposed to pay attention for like a learning experience. Back then, that was just natural, so I didn't think nothing of it. But then when you look at what Disney Channel has become now, you will never see an episode like that. And I mean never. Talking about bras and boob sizes and like, you know, how like you're not developed, but this other girl at school is, and like, you know, and how irritating it is that, you know, yours haven't came in yet. It's like, what the world? That is not the Disney Channel today. This is a completely different era, you know? And I mean, the fact that they were just willing to go there shows you just how different Disney Channel was back then. They even had a eating disorder episode where one of the girls literally just stopped eating food and passed out. They didn't use the term anorexia because, you know, Disney Channel is Disney Channel. But that's basically what it was, you know. They even use certain terms like when Gordo was all like, they teach us not to do drugs and drink and everything, but why do they make us play dodgeball at like, PE? I'm all like, did he just say the word drugs? Like, what the world is this? This is not the same Disney as today. Then, because Gordo's Jewish and he was gonna have his bar mitzvah, Miranda mistake the term bar mitzvah for a bar. She's all like, "There's gonna be drinking there." I'm all like, "Oh my god!" Or when like Ethan Kraft wanted to throw a party at Lizzie's place, and she's all like, "It's not gonna have like drinks there, is it? Meaning alcohol. This is something you would never hear on Disney Channel." Or one of them throwing a house party and it's getting like out of hand. This show wanted to show you what it's like to grow up. This show was a coming of age show, but in a sitcom Disney Channel format and everything. Some of the issues that, I applaud them for tackling certain like, edgy topics and stuff. Did they really hit the mark? Not really, because it's Disney Channel and it's a comedy. So it's more like laughter than a learning experience. And I'll get into that a little bit more. Like, because they had an episode where you're supposed to respect other people's cultures and races and countries. And it's kind of like a flyby moment. Like you hear a phrase and like, oh wait, what? But then after that, it's just joke afterwards and stuff. So it's kind of like you're supposed to get a message out of this, but how can you when it's just a bunch of jokes afterwards? One other thing I applaud this show for is being very diverse. Back in 2001, when diversity just was not a thing. Now, when you do look at this show, it looks like there's just a bunch of white people on the show. But this is because this is Hollywood, so they try to get the most light-skinned people possible. But there is a plethora of, like, different races in this show. When you actually start looking at the actual, like, ethnicity backgrounds of these characters, you're really shocked and surprised to see what you will find and everything. Because like I said before, when you just look at them, they just look automatically white and everything. But a lot of them are a lot more different than that. And this was the early like 2000s and stuff, So of course, the people of color mostly make up like the best friends, the classmates, and recurring characters and stuff. Because of course, the actress who plays like Lizzie, Matt, and Kate, they're white. But the actress who plays Lizzie's mom, she's actually Jewish and everything. Now the dad, I'm not 100% sure what he is. I'm pretty sure he's white, but like, I think he has French and German and other stuff in him, but I don't know, he looks like he could be something different. His brother is actually David Carradine, and somebody told me a long time ago that David might be half Native American, but I don't know. But the guy who plays Gordo, we know for a fact, like, he's Jewish and everything. Miranda, now her character is Mexican, but the actress Lelaine is actually Filipino, but of the Latino version. And remember, the Latino Puerto Rican, not Puerto Rican, the Latino Filipino people, their ancestors came from Mexico and stuff. And then you have Ethan Kraft, who's like Italian. You have some black characters in there. Lanny, he's black. Claire, she's black. Mr. Diggs and the principal, they're black. You have now Tudgman. I don't know if he's white or not. He looks kind of Jewish or a little Italian or something, so he might be something. I'm not 100% sure. Melina, she looks white, but you know what? The actress' last name sounds kind of Jewish, so maybe not. But I'm just gonna go for white for now and everything. And so yeah, you had like a big abundance of like different like colors in this show, you know? And that's like really impressive. Of course, now if you see that today, you'll be having somebody scream the word woke or something like that. And not only that, but you had tons of females and males in this show. And I think it might have had more females than male, which of course, if it was made today, you'll be having somebody screaming the word woke and everything. And that is really something, like, that people got to see themselves, like, in this show and everything. Now, the show was created by Terry Minsky, and she struck gold with this show. And, it's crazy because I don't know what year this show came out, but almost 20 years, not maybe 20, I don't know, maybe over probably like 18 or 20 years later, she struck gold again with Andy Mack. Yes, she is the one who created that show. I still have yet to see that show and everything, but I think it's a lot more dramatic than this show is, I believe. Now, originally, this show was supposed to be called What's Lizzie Thinking? Because, like I said before, there's an animated version of Lizzie. Now, the animated version was created by, I think it's Deborah Solman or something like that. And she was like an independent like artist and everything. And this was like really something different, something you really don't see unless it's Herman's Head, where you get all of Lizzie's inner thoughts through this animated figure. And this animated figure is sassy. Like, she tells you how it is, and she just says what's on the top of her mind. Something Lizzie does not always do, because Lizzie tries to be a little bit more compassionate. But sometimes Lizzie will sass you and everything like that. Now, in each episode, because Disney didn't want to give them no budget, animated Lizzie only appears for like 2 minutes in every episode. But there's a compilation on YouTube of all the animated Lizzies, and I think it's like over an hour long or something like that. And like, animated Lizzie is savage, man. That's one of the joys of watching this show, is watching animated Lizzie, because you never know what she's gonna say, what she's gonna do, what kind of prop she's gonna have. It was something really fresh and innovative and stuff, and I haven't seen no other Disney Channel show try to do anything like that. And the animation on that is really cool. Now, the original pilot is out of order. So is the finale. The original pilot, I believe, is the pool party episode. But for whatever reason, Disney Channel and Disney Plus and the DVDs want you to think it's picture day. Then there is the finale, where it's like goodbye something or another. It's basically a clip episode where people getting their yearbook signed, and Lizzie's recounting all the adventures they had, and her thinking about her best friend in a different kind of light. And like, it's the whatchamacallit. So it's like, it's the actual real finale. But for some bizarre reason, 11 more episodes were unaired, so they had to air them and stuff. I think one reason why they did that is to kind of be all like, see, Miranda hasn't left the show. She's still here, and she's still in these other 11 episodes and stuff. Because Lelaine, the actress who played Miranda, left the show towards the end of the second season I think she was doing a movie for Disney Channel called You Wish, and she wanted to focus on her music career. But I also saw her in the episode of Buffy, where she had a completely different hairstyle and stuff. But yeah, so because of that, Miranda just kind of like disappeared from the show, and it really felt different. Like, you felt the loss of Miranda big time. And they always come up with some weird excuse as to why she's not there. But when I remember I was watching this in real time, I was just like, okay, something's going on. So then you think it's going to get explained in the movie and she'll show up. But no, in the movie that came out in 2003, she's nowhere to be found. I still don't particularly love the movie. It's all right, but too much has changed from that of the show, and I don't like, how what the focus of the movie is and stuff. When it comes to the cast, like this really was a great cast of characters and stuff. Like, they just fit so well in the show and really help guide the progression of the lead actress and stuff, or the lead character, I should say. Like, she has these two best friends that are like world apart from her, but they do help balance her out. Like, she has this annoying brother who always gets on her nerves. And I swear, Jake and Hillary, they did such a great job like hating each other on the show. You really felt that. Like, you really felt like they was brother and sister. And like I said before, when there was like the template in the blueprint, because you have like the lead actress, and then you have like the annoying brother, and that's the formula that Disney will recycle time and time again. Now, the reason why even Stevens probably isn't the blueprint for that is because the show just didn't focus on one of the child siblings, it focused on both evenly. Whereas this show, you have Lizzie, who's always the main A plot of the show, and then you have Matt, her little brother, who's like the side B character and the B story and everything, and it's a lot shorter of time length. And then you have her caring, sweet, soft-spoken parents, and these are two of the best Disney Channel parents I have ever seen. They are two of my favorites. Like, they're very kind-hearted, they're soft-spoken. Like, the father, when he gets mad, you can hear the anger in his voice, but not like in a mean, evil kind of way. And the mom, she's always soft-spoken, man. Even when she tries to get mad, like, she's still soft-spoken. But every once in a while, her voice will get like high-pitched and everything. And so, like, and it's one of those type of shows that where the parents, they try to, counsel you, console you, teach you life lessons and stuff. Whereas opposed to Disney Channel shows today where the parents are just as wacky as their kids and stuff. And like, you had like the people at school, you had the bully, you had the popular person, you had the nerd and everything. And, it was just one of those like trope type things that, it just felt so natural. And then there is the fashion sense, where they still dress like regular, like preteens and everything, but also with some style because you want somebody to emulate that and buy it in the store. But they still dress like they was real people, as opposed to some of the newer Disney shows where they had people dressed almost like they're supermodels in a way, kind of. And, or very, very fancy kid looking clothes, but still something you could buy like at the store. But I don't know, this just had like a really, like, because So Weird had the most basic clothing style ever, that where you could literally just go to like some place like say Walmart and pick something up. But like the clothes Lizzie and like Miranda wore, like they were trendsetters, man. They always had their hair looking cute. They always had like something in their hair if their hair wasn't pent up in a certain kind of way. Like, like a bandana rag, or like, not a scrunchie, but kind of like these fluffy looking scrunchies that make like pigtails. They would have like the colored streaks in their hair. I think one time Miranda had like a Native American, like, feather in her hair, because both her and Lizzie, even though their styles were similar, they was also different. And it kind of changed a little bit more because in season 1, Miranda and Lizzie were dressed more similar. But by season 2, they started giving like Miranda a bit more of an edge kind of look. Like one time Miranda wore like a crossword puzzle shirt. And that's like the coolest thing ever. She wore like a British flag shirt and she's not even British. And like, the animated Lizzie had kind of like these high, like, flip flop. The mom always wore those in episodes, but Lizzie really didn't, except for like one. But animated Lizzie did. And they'd be wearing things like capris and all these brightly colored shirts. And it was like really trendy, like the way they dressed and stuff with the skirts. I don't think they ever wear shorts though, but it was mostly just like a pants ensemble. Then you had like Gordo, who's like their guy best friend, and he was more kind of like a hipster, almost grunge alternative kind of look. Like he dressed very much like a guy, you know what I'm saying? He played hacky sack. He would wear like a basic t-shirt and like another shirt on top of that you have to like button up all the way, but he always had it open, and that's how he always dressed in like the first season. But then by the second season, for some reason they gave him like a jacket for like a lot of the episodes, but only a few he'll go back to the way he dressed in like the first season. But he had kind of like a really like grunge kind of look to him and stuff, because his character was more about not caring about what people thought about him. And then you had Matt, who just dressed like a typical young little boy, you know what I'm saying? And like even the mom had a certain fashion sense. Like her hair in the first season was always pent up in these little like plaits and everything. I'm not sure why they gave her that style, but I loved it and everything. It really made her look hip and everything. But the mom mostly dressed in like pants or like capris in the first season. But then by the second season, she'll still dress that way, but then she'll change it up a little bit to where she'll wear like a skirt or something like that. And then she started letting her hair down in the second season. It's the small little details that you notice when you watch, because the mom used to always wear these high like flip-flops. The dad will wear more like a casual business, almost Sunday like attire, like slack pants, a button-up shirt, and sometimes like a tie and everything. And then you had like Kate, who's the popular girl, who always dressed really fancy and popular of like, that time and stuff. She would wear like these long skirts, these really nice blouses. Her hair was always up and everything. And, they was really styling back then. Not to mention the music that they had. Like they had the typical like, show music and sound effects, but they would have copyrighted music sometimes playing. Like they played Destiny Child Survivor of all things. I'm like, holy crap. I was not expecting to hear that. Now, one of my favorite scenes was in that episode where Miranda had the eating disorder and they were making a music video, like a dance video, and they was like dancing around. Now, back in the day, they had a song by Play called Us Against the World. Amazing song, amazing band. They've broken up now. But because they lost the rights to that song, now on Disney Plus, you get some kind of weird techno music, and it sounds ugly. Somebody uploaded a techno version, like, up on like YouTube. It is terrible, and I mean it's terrible. But the main theme song, see, this was right before Disney Channel started having their lead stars sing like their theme song and everything. I forget who that started with. It might have been That's So Raven, I think. And so, but here it was sung by somebody completely different. And it's just the most catchiest song ever. But you don't expect this song to be like the theme song of Lizzie McGuire. But somehow it just works in the intro. Because in the intro, it's like a really cool intro. It's basic. It's the entire main cast playing with these jelly balls and just bouncing them around, and then it's like a giant ball and everything, and they're running from the ball, and there's like they're on like a background. The background's all white with these green stripes just like going up and down. But the theme song is I think it's called Can't You Believe or something like that, and it's by Angie Jar or Jari. And so like I've never really heard of her. I guess she's more like, low-key, local and everything. But the theme song in its entirety is on YouTube and stuff like that. Now, because this was the earlier days of Disney Channel, there was no crossover and stuff. Nah, no crossover. Not like they did with, like, the Sweet Life and Hannah Montana Wizards and That's So Raven. This was before all the crossovers. It would have been cool for them to cross over. If they would have, most likely it probably would have been even Stevens or like That's So Raven. But no, sadly, no crossovers. Now, because this was the earlier days of Disney Channel, you will see some people here that will go on to be in other Disney Channel shows. And some of these people, I could not believe it because I didn't even recognize them until like I rewatched the show and everything. So, like, you have Carla Pratt, who played Gordo's one-time girlfriend in the show, and she went on to do The Proud Family. Ari Lowe Jr., who played Mr. Diggs, the substitute teacher, he had a guest appearance in Jesse, where he played that crooked like music producer guy. Phil Lewis, who played the principal, he was that one dude on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Like, I forget his name because I never really watched that show, but I could not believe it and stuff. He still looks exactly the same. Now this one's totally shocking. Like, Jake Thomas, who played Matt, he was on the That's So Raven spinoff of like Corey in the House, where he played kind of like the bully of that show. I was really shocked to see him on the show. I'm like, oh, no way. And then he's gotten like a little bit taller. His voice has changed a little bit. But of course, that spinoff only lasted for one season. I think even Orlando Brown was in the episode. And of course, he went on to be in That's So Raven. Now, this show also had a bunch of famous guest stars. I mean, a lot of famous guest stars. It had Aaron Carter in that one Christmas episode. It had Aerosmith in another Christmas episode. And then there's Eric Estrada, who played like a Mexican game show host. Doris Roberts went on to play Gordo's grandmother, may she rest in peace. Frankie Muniz, like from Malcolm in the Middle, who also did a movie with Hilary Duff, he was in the episode. Then there is a blink and you will miss her, the burping girl. She is played by I forget her name, but she's Lily from the AT&T commercial. She's also an actress and stuff. Mr. Mosley, that's who he played on The Sweet Life. And then there's Dottie, who played the coach. She was in a couple of episodes. And then there's Zachary Quinton, of all people, the new Spock from the movies. He was in Lizzie McGuire. I think I completely forgot about this. So because this is the earlier Disney days, this show is also on DVD. Kinda. I own 3 of them, but there's a couple of more. So, back in the day, and Disney doesn't make DVDs of their Disney Channel shows no more. And, you have to watch it all on Disney Plus, if it's on Disney Plus. Some of this stuff is not on Disney Plus, like the famous Jet Jackson, Fillmore, The Jersey. Those shows are not on Disney Plus for some bizarre reason and stuff. But back in the day, they would put things out on volumes. I got 2 of them. I got Fashionable Lizzie and Growing Up Lizzie. And I got those for free because back in the day, Disney had a rewards program. And if you had enough rewards, you could get a free DVD, and I got mine. And so, there's a couple of episodes on there and but not much. And then there was some other volumes where it's kind of Crushing, and another one about which celebrity guest appeared in the episode. But then they decided to release only the first 22 episodes of season 1 on a box set and everything. I got that, and thank God I did, because now of course this show will always be on Disney Channel, but I don't not Disney Channel, but Disney Plus. But I don't always want to have Disney Plus, so I get to like rewatch it whenever I can. The only problem with like the box set is that sometimes the audio dips out of like the episodes. You can still hear it, but it's just kind of like it just gets like lower. Also, there's commentary on the DVDs. The only problem with that is like, when they have a bunch of people in the booth, they're all trying to talk over each other, and the volume's turned up really loud, so you can't really hear what they're saying because they're all just talking over each other. And one thing that's interesting is that like Jake, this must have happened a few years when he started getting a little bit older, because his voice sounds more like a teenager. And trying to think. Now, they didn't put out no other like episodes on the box set DVDs for some bizarre reason. I don't know why they only did the first 22 when there was only like 30 something episodes in the first season. I swear Disney's so cheap. But here's the craziest thing. The entire series is on DVD box set, but it's an import. It's like the UK version. What in the world? Like, it's an American show, but yet the Americans don't have the whole thing on DVD, and you'll have to get an import, and you'll have to buy a special type of DVD player. That's too much of a hassle. But it's not just DVDs. Lizzie McGuire was also turned into like books, even comic books. I'm not sure about a video game. Now, I'm surprised that Lizzie McGuire has never had the musical play like treatment. I'm not sure how much the budget was, but Disney Channel doesn't like to spend that much money on their shows. So in the first season, in the pilot episode, they actually filmed in a real house, and you can tell because it looks different inside and there's different lighting and stuff. After that, they built the house on set. And so, like the backyard has like the fake grass and stuff like that. But by the second season, you started seeing them on location a bit more, walking around the streets, the front yard, what I'm saying? Like them going around downtown. So, they had a little bit more bigger budget in the second season, especially with all the famous people that showed up and stuff. I believe the school, I'm not sure if the school was filmed on location or it was just in studio. It might have been just in studio because there was only certain hallways that they was filmed in certain classrooms, and normally the same classroom. For the outside, I believe they did film outside, but I'm not sure how they made it look more realistic. But it looked like it had fake grass, but they really were outside because the wind will always be blowing and sometimes it would rain on them. Now, the show will always end with a blooper, and the bloopers are hilarious. They're I think over an hour long, and the one dude who plays Gordo, I couldn't believe what he said. He was about to cuss, but he had to stop himself. Something had happened where he hurt his hand, and he said son of a, and then he stopped. And one of the actresses, I'm not sure which one it was, it might have been Hilary or Lelaine, they just kind of looked at him and looked up and kind of a shocked look on his face because they knew he was about to cuss and everything. And Disney Channel actually kept that in the blooper, and Disney Plus had kept it in the blooper as well. I'm telling you, man, these were different times back then. Now, I already talked about the movie, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm gonna now talk about the character profiles, some special episodes, and then I'll get into that revival talk and what happened with that.